Okay, so this little filly is 3 years old, and she's cow bred. She's out of Pepto Madeira, I believe his name is, and he's not out of that horse, she's by that horse, and then he's by Pepto Boonsmall. And so I really like Pepto Boonsmall horses. They're really fun and kind of goofy sometimes, but I like them. Anyways, this will be my 8th ride on her. I sawed all my colts out in this rope halter. I'm sorry we don't have a video of that, but anyways, she did really good in that. I like to get them all really soft in this first, and then I put them in a little, like a colt starting hackamore that has a rope nose band, and the reins both attach under here and everything. Anyways, she's really soft in that. So today is my 2nd ride to have her in an actual snaffle bit. And last time I rode her in it, she didn't really know what to do with it. I let it hang in her mouth for a little bit before I got on her and let her carry it around while we did some lunging and stuff. And she was all right after I started riding her with it and had been messing with her for a little bit. And anyways, so she had some time off also because of the weather, so we're just gonna start out with a little bit of groundwork. I really like that she just kind of walks off like that. I like my horses to move out immediately when I ask them. Oh, and if she's going around fine and isn't trying to hump up with the saddle on, I'm not gonna just keep lunging her to get her tired. I only do groundwork to get their minds where they need to be. I don't try to wear them out or anything by it. I just want to make sure that she's focused on me because she's still a little young thing, and she was out in pasture doing nothing until they brought her to me. And so we've been working from haltering and stuff also. She was a little halter broke. You could put one on her and she wasn't scared of people or anything, but she didn't really know much, but she's super smart. She's a really nice little horse, and she tries. Oh, she gets a little ADD, but she's just real curious about everything, and she's not bad at all. She's been really fun. She didn't even buck the first time I put the saddle on her. I like to pop my stirrups like this. Notice my lead rope is loose. If she wants to leave, she can, but I'm gonna make it hard on her if she decides to. I don't ever force my horses to stand there while I do this stuff. If they wanna leave, they're more than welcome, but they're gonna work pretty hard if they decide to. She's looking at me like, okay, this is boring. And then just to show you guys, another thing that I do with my little colts is I'll take the rope and I'll put it over their head like this. When I'm riding them for the first time, I have this little cheat string on my saddle. I guess some people call it a night latch, but it literally is just a piece of string rope thing, so it's not official or anything. But anyways, and when I'm up there on them, I'll have my rope like this, and I'll be holding on with my hand to this, and we'll just kind of go around. And I have a friend that lets me use his round pin, so I don't have to worry about this big space. We just go round and round, and I get them loping and stuff. Anyway, so when I switch directions, I like to throw my rope over their head when I'm on their back. And so this little exercise that I'm about to do gets them used to that. And it also gets them used to following their noses around. So they learn that where their nose goes, their body is supposed to follow. So I'll just take it and put it over like this. And if I was doing it to a horse for the first time and I didn't know how they reacted to stuff around their hindquarters, I might just do it back here behind the back of the saddle. But I know she's gonna be okay because we've done it. So I'm gonna put it down here, and she might take a second to figure it out. There. I just want her to follow that feel. I'm not pulling on it. I kind of treat it the same way that I treat when I'm on their back. I try not to really pull on them at first. I want them to just learn how to feel me, and I try to feel back to them, and that helps me to know when to release a lot quicker, and they learn pretty good from that. As they get further along in their training, I want to be able to pull on them, and I want them to know that it's okay to be pulled on and that they don't need to get worried. We just need to do things a little bit quicker and a little bit faster, and they just need to move harder and move out a little more. So, but when I'm starting them, I don't want to scare them or, you know, do anything that's going to ruin their confidence and me up there, because I'm trying to be their brains for them. So I'm going to just try to be real feely with them. I'm going to go over here and put on her bridle. Bug flew in my mouth. All right. So this will be her second time to ever have the bit in her mouth. And the way that let me move her over here so you guys can see. The way that you put it on the first time sets the precedent for how they'll accept the bit for a long time after that. So I'm going to put my hands like this, get the bit right here, and I'm just going to hold it right here. I'm not going to make her open her mouth. I just hold it right there. And you'll be surprised how light to the touch these horses are when you first get them. When they haven't been messed with, they're sensitive to everything that you do. It's people that are hard on them that make the horse hard. The horse isn't naturally that way. Most horses aren't anyways. None of the horses I've worked with have been naturally that way. It's just horses that people have been riding and maybe not being as conscientious of what they're doing with them as maybe they should be. Those are the horses that get kind of hard mouths. So I'm just hang this up over here. All right. So she's feeling it in her mouth. This bit, it's kind of it's not a high dollar bit or anything. It's just an O-ring snaffle. The rings on the sides are a little bit thicker, so they're a little bit heavier. I like that because I feel like she can really feel when I lift it up in her mouth. It takes the weight off or it puts the weight on. And then the mouthpiece is just copper, smooth copper, so that her mouth will produce saliva, which will help keep her mouth soft. Check my cinch again, a little bit tighter. And every time after I tighten a horse's cinch, I always like to let them know it's tight. I always walk them forward a step. That just comes after having horses that didn't realize I'd tighten the cinch until I got on, and then they realized they didn't like it. So, all right, so when I get on her, I'm gonna have my reins right here. If she wanted to walk off, my reins are not pulling on her, but they're tight enough to where I could get her stopped, and I have this inside one slightly shorter, so I could turn her towards me if I need to. Okay, go ahead and get on her. I try not to hang on the side of them. They don't really like that, and I can't really blame them. So if she wants to walk off, I'm just gonna kind of pick up. I don't have my other foot in the stirrup yet. There we go. All right, so we're just gonna stand here for a second. If I had a horse that was really busy and it wasn't comfortable standing still, it just really felt like it needed to move its feet, I might take it in a little circle and let it move its feet a little bit, kind of zigzag a little bit maybe. But they have to stand still when I'm getting on and off of them, and I prefer they learn to do that from the beginning. It's just not safe otherwise. So with her, like I said, second time to ever have the bit in her mouth. I've checked her teeth and she didn't have any wolf teeth, so I went ahead with it. If she had wolf teeth, I wouldn't have put her in a bit until they were taken out. So with her, I'm guiding her around the same way as I did that roan mare, but it's a little bit slower and my cues are a little more exaggerated. I'm really taking my inside leg off here, and I'm bumping her with my outside leg. And then when I want to go straight, I just quit doing all that and let her go straight. And then if I want to go to the left, I'm gonna really bring my hand out here. And I'm gonna also, I start them neck reining from the get-go. I want them to be really good at it, hopefully by the time I send them back to their owners. And so I like to always put that rein on their neck whenever we're turning one direction or another. She's doing a lot better today than she did the first time. The first time she had the bit in, she was, mouthing the heck out of it and had her tongue over it and under it and on the side of it and any which way she could get it. And I just really like to get them soft, get them bending a lot. I've already loped on her a lot, and I'll do some in this ride, but the most important thing to me is getting her riding around in this bit, is getting her where she's steering and she understands that the cues are the same as they were when I had her in that little hackamore. And she thinks she's really smart. She's funny. So she's walking kind of slow and she keeps wanting to stop. So I'm gonna increase my forward impulsion here. And now we're getting somewhere. Now she's really wanting to argue with that bit, and I'm still gonna keep being light with her. I'm not gonna get in an argument with her. I'm just gonna make it very clear on what I expect of her, and when she does it, well, she gets to go in a straight line, and it feels good to get that pressure off that bit. I have, when I've started them in bits before, I have gone ahead and tied the bit around to the saddle and stuff like that to try to get them soft that way, but I don't really like doing that because I feel like my hands are a lot more forgiving than the saddle, because the saddle is a solid object and my hands have a lot more feel in it than the saddle does. And so I feel like if I want to notice the slightest try that she gives me, I got to have my hands where I can release it right away. But there will be a point where I might, tie her bit around to the saddle, not tight or anything, but just enough where I might be able to lunge her like that, and she'll learn to keep her body in an arc and keep that shoulder up and follow that nose around. But not right now. She's not that far yet. I really want him to keep as soft his mouth as I can get him to keep. And we're just doing a lot of this part might seem kind of boring, but I do this with my young horses a lot. We just go back and forth in the pen, and I'll keep making them turn that one direction till they get a little bit soft. Like right there, she's really pulling on me hard. There, she got soft. So I was bumping her with my hand. Like, I'll pick my hand up and ask her, and if she says, nah, I'm just gonna ignore you, then I'll start kind of bumping my fingers. But I'm gonna pick my hand up first and ask them before I go right to bumping, because pretty soon my goal is for my cues to get more and more subtle. I don't want to keep having to do more and more on the horse. I want the horse to get where she responds to less and less of what I'm asking. And so with these young horses, I drive them a lot with my body, and I do a lot with my legs. I take my leg off more than I put a leg on, because if you ride a horse that rides really nice off of leg, it just becomes an automatic reaction for you to just take a leg off. You don't even have to put one on. They just feel that door open up and they'll go into it, and that's pretty nice. There, that was good. And she keeps wanting to kind of stop. Oh, we might lope a little bit now. I'm gonna pick up my inside rein. She might try to buck a little, I don't know. She has been in a stall for a couple days. Especially when I'm loping these guys, I'll really try to help them with my body a lot. Like when I feel them start to get into a lope, I'll push really hard with my body and make it kind of help them get that forward impulsion. She's not really sure if she wants to lope or not, but We're just gonna keep her in it. She's kind of loping like she doesn't want to. So what I might do is I might hold that inside rein like this and ask her, pop her on the butt with my hand. She didn't like that very much. So we're gonna keep asking until she just does it. But the main thing is, if you're asking her to go by popping her on the butt, you better make sure she has some place to go, not be hanging on her head. I want this horse to use the whole pin. She's really wanting to go back to that other horse. So when we get over there, I'm gonna make it where she doesn't really want to be there. When she comes over here, I'm gonna make it where she kind of wants to be over here. But when we get next to this horse, she's not gonna like it very much. And when we get over here, I'm just gonna let her alone and let her do her thing. I didn't ask her to stop loping. I'm pushing her really hard with my body. She doesn't have a lot of forward impulsion, that's better. Okay, so I'm gonna get ready to stop her, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna count to 3 with the beat of her loping. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, whoa. And I'm gonna hold her head here. I'm just holding her, I'm not pulling on her. If she tries to back up, there. If she tries to back up, I might put a little bit of leg on her. Just touch her with my spurs, hold her body there. And we're already gonna start working on our turnaround where she's moving off of her hindquarters. And it doesn't bother me when they put their head down like that. Her entire demeanor right now is not saying she wants to buck me off. If her head wants to go down to the ground, that's a sign of relaxation, and I encourage that. And some horses, the head going down isn't a good thing, but it just depends on what you're doing, and it depends on the horse. Okay, so we're gonna lope the other way. Pick up that inside rein. Cue with that outside leg. That was a lot better. She's left-handed, obviously. I want her to kind of open up and feel free to like move out, you know? I want her to be on a there. That feels really good. She's moving pretty free. You know, and every once in a while, I'll bump her inside rein and kind of check her face to see if I have any face. And if I don't have any face on her, then I'm gonna kind of bump that inside rein a little more. I want her to be soft all the time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, whoa. I'm gonna hold my hands here. She got soft just for a second, but she did it. Okay, I'm gonna ask her to pick up again. There we go. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I can sure feel it. Just because her head is down like that, she was pushing. She's still pushing, pushing, pushing. I don't want her to turn her head, pushing, pushing. She's still pushing, so I'm just gonna kind of bump her up where she quits doing that. I'm gonna hold her here. Let me seesaw back and forth a little bit because she's focused on something over there. Just because she puts her head down doesn't mean she's getting soft. There we go, she got soft. She has to release the pressure on her own mouth herself. Okay, so then we might work on crossovers a little bit. She's progressing a lot faster than that other horse did. There we go. She's really crossing over in front. I know she's still moving forward and stuff, but this is the start to a nice spin. She likes going to the left a lot better than she likes going to the right. I'm actually using my foot on her shoulder. And I have a little bit of back on my left rein, but my left rein is not crossing the line on her mane, not crossing this middle part of her mane. And this horse, she really wants to stop. She's gonna be really neat whenever she figures out everything that we're asking her to do. I'm gonna go ahead and wait till she gets soft. There, that was for a second. Okay, now I'm gonna ask her to cross underneath by backing her up and turning her around. And my legs are telling her to keep moving her feet. My hands are telling her I don't want her to move her feet forward, so the only place left is to move them backwards. So there we go, that was a good one. She took one step to the right and it was good on the front end. And so she's getting kind of sticky. Her feet aren't wanting to really keep on going. Ooh. I'm gonna hold her here. Every time I stop them, I hold them until they're soft. I don't like it when horses stop and they're pushing into that bit, because pretty soon you probably won't have a stop left. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop her again, get her soft. She has a hard time with this part. She doesn't like it. I'm just gonna hold her here for a second. There, okay. Now I'm gonna back her up and go the other way. My legs are telling her to go somewhere. I'm kind of tipping her nose to the left. I'm gonna try to move her hindquarters to the right as we back up. It's hard for them to do this kind of stuff. They have no idea what you want, and she's really trying to figure it out. She's like, you expect me to do what with you on me? I mean, she's definitely not doing it perfect, but we did just back in a circle, and it'll get better tomorrow. I'm gonna wait for her to get soft again. There we go. I might trot forwards. Like to teach them to go from a stop to a faster gait than a walk pretty quick. I'm not really worried about the speed of her gaits, as long as she does her gaits right now. I want her to learn how to carry her body while she's carrying me, and I'm gonna try to help her as much as I can, stay out of her way, and we'll get better every day, but asking for it all at once is a lot. Ooh. I'm gonna hold her till she gets soft. I don't want her to back up. That wasn't soft, she just put her head down. That was better. Okay, now we're gonna back in a circle the other way. And this eventually will get to the point where she's like winding up on her hind end to where she can spring out after a cow. This is different from the spin because there's not forward motion, obviously it's backward motion, and you don't want them crossing over in front, you want them crossing under in the front. I might pop her in the shoulder a little bit. She's getting stiff to the right. There. That wasn't perfect, but she was rocked back a little bit on her hindquarters, and she kind of tried to do what I was asking. I guess we're running out of daylight, so we better stop, but ooh. Anyways, I'm excited to see what this little horse can do, and she's pretty neat. I like her. So that's this horse.